an open secret amongst the Yuri fanbase that even the most popular Yuri series like Citrus has some serious issues. And it's likely the reason why you see Citrus get an 8 on a mal for the manga. It's because people expect to have those issues. There is an obvious demand for good Yuri series, so many users flock to this genre not because they want to see girls make out, but because they want to see something truly unique and different. Enter Bloom Into You, a hopeful young and newcomer that hopes to capture the hearts and minds of a different kind of Yuri fan, one that is a little bit more mature and that wants that new, unique experience. Unsure of her feelings, Yu begins her relationship with Toko Nanami, a student council member. Yu is rather confused about her feelings as she has never felt love for anyone else, and her feelings for Nanami confuse her. Toko Nanami is deeply in love with Yu, but has a much deeper issue that will need to be resolved before she can truly accept herself and love Yu. And as Yu and Nanami get closer, we will uncover more of these characters and their feelings towards one another and their pasts. Will their relationship blossom, or is it destined to fail? This is Bloom Into You. Bloom Into You is from the mangaka Neo Nakatani, which is her first original work so far. It's currently releasing and it has a couple volumes out, with its original publishing date being way back in 2015. The anime is produced by Troika, who are known for anime like Recreators and Aldno Zero, and is directed by Makoto Kato, who has directed The Pet Girl of Sakura So, and has worked on Batum and served as episode director for episode 3 and 8 of that series. It is 12 episodes and streaming on HIDIVE and VRV with a regular runtime of 24 minutes.
さっきから変わらず困ってんな。困ってるよ。
It's no secret that before this anime, I was very critical of the manga. I didn't like how slow Yu and Nanami's relationships progressed. I didn't really enjoy their interactions as much as I thought I would either. Now jumping over to the anime, I was both impressed and not impressed at the same time. So keep with me on this one. I was impressed in the sense that they kept almost 100% faithful to the manga, recreating moments that I really enjoyed, like for example when Nanami is at Yu's house, and I always love those moments. And they're here, and they're even better in the anime with the added animation, music, and directing. The obvious stuff. Now stay with me on the next part. What I wasn't impressed in is that it's the same story from the manga with the same roundabout character development. I still don't like how slow their relationship is developing. I still don't like a lot of their interactions. But, and this is a huge but, I mean, you're gonna have to inform your best friend Becky about this one. I didn't mind one single bit in this anime while watching it. I was entertained from moment to moment. Now, I have been trying to really pin this down why, even though I identified in pretty much real time why I disliked it, but as to why I was really enjoying what I was seeing. And the reason for this is simple, and you'll be hearing a lot of this in this review. Everything around this anime, the art, animation, music, voice acting, it makes the story better. And that's right, we have another rare case in anime where the adaptation is better than the source. I don't mind the slow story because the animation made the facial expressions better, the music made the scenes way more impactful, the voice acting brought the words on the page to life with beautiful execution, and finally the art gave us these characters more weight. The anime made a story from my personal perspective, a much to do about nothing story into a much to do about something. Well, that was a terrible way to put that.
でもやっぱり小糸さんに頼みたいの。
Characters are pretty in-depth. You have Yu, she's short, and Nanami. She's pretty tall. 10 out of 10 best characters. Extreme Death. Buy my tallest chicks or hot merch at a local Bass Pro Shops near you. Just kidding. It's important to really discuss these characters as the story is very character driven, focuses on relationships and interpersonal drama. And at the very least, Bloom Into You brings that and gives the viewers what they want in that regard. Yu and Nanami have a fairly good dynamic, one the viewers can easily grasp and understand. Nanami loves Yu. Yu is confused and unsure just what love means and what you're supposed to feel. Nanami, on the other hand, is very complicated and doesn't want Nanami to love someone else and wants to show her love, but obviously she just can't. But the show doesn't focus on the relationships. Thanks, by the way, ambulances driving by. But the show doesn't focus on the relationships either. It also focuses on building up these two characters outside of their defining partner. As an example, Nanami's personal struggles is her living up to her sister and putting on a play at school. While nothing here is extremely interesting or deep, it's rather relatable issues like these that will connect with many viewers who are, for example, in high school, or people who look back on those years in fondness, or people who have to put together plays. The show later on focuses on extra side characters who are very convenient, I'll say that. Just so happen to be close to you and Nanami. They just so happen to give advice at the perfect times, and they just so happen to have went to the same school. And it just so happens that I want to move on to the art. That being said, I want to specifically know what you're thinking about these characters, so put down the comments below if they impressed you or not.
当選したらどうするの？
決めたわけじゃないけど、あの子も役員で誘うつもり。だから今から信頼関係を築いておきたいの。
Wow, oh wow, these girls are cute, my dudes. Merch is now available at Bass Pro Shop. Oh god, that wasn't funny. They're gonna unsub to me. Well, in all seriousness, Troika more than delivered on Bloom Into You. I love the art direction for this anime and how it really stays faithful to the manga, but also does its own thing and improves on it in just about every aspect visually. Just taking a look at these comparisons between both you and Nanami's manga counterparts, well, they look almost completely refreshed and alive. This is what the anime excels at, and by the end of the anime, you really can appreciate these designs more than in the manga, and that, frankly, my dudes, sucks, because it wasn't until the anime did I realize these designs are actually pretty solid. The manga itself isn't the worst thing ever, but it doesn't exactly inspire interest visually. The anime, though, just takes it to a whole other level. The flat designs of the manga are gone, and now they pop out, whether it be characters or backgrounds. If you're a manga reader who loved or hated the manga designs, it doesn't matter, because I think either way, for most people, these designs will blow fan or critic alike out of the water. Animation is where this show ultimately hangs its hat on. Visually, compared to every other anime this year, it's good, but not the very best. Compared to its manga counterpart, Another Slice of Life, it is up there as one of the best of this year. Just take the opening, for example. It's so visually appealing and distinct, setting itself apart from its competition. The way the vines in the opening play into the tone of our MC's relationship is rather interesting as well. Its basic symbolism to just spitballing here, but it could be as simple as meaning as you and Nanami's relationship is very complicated. I mean, when you're trying to get through to an old house covered in vines, what do you think? Well, heck, that's annoying. I believe it's the same way here, and also props to this anime for not putting in random clips from the show. But another really awesome aspect is the characters' facial animations and overall how characters are animated. An example is the way Toko is animated, and happy to see you in episode 6. She is practically bouncing off the walls when she walks in. And the same with you, who is the complete opposite of Toko. She's unsure, and it shows in the way she's animated. But in the manga, you don't see any of that ever, and that's because the art in the manga doesn't have the luxury of, well, being animated. But I think it may go beyond that. While I am not going to say the manga's art is bad, it's not a manga where it's touted for its art. Not only that, but it's a manga, so it being animated in any way makes it somewhat more impressive on some technical level. This is what happens to Bloom Into You. The facial responses, the body movement, it makes those seemingly okay scenes into emotional powerhouses. The music of Bloom Into You is from the mind of Michiru Oshima, who is known for the wonderful score from Snow White with the Red Hair, the Full Metal Alchemist series, and Little Witch Academia. To say the least about Bloom Into You, it's great. Oshima's score really shines through in the series by adding texture. Without the score, this anime is half, maybe even more than half, of what it would be with it. Every single bar of music provides a world of difference to the scenes in this show. And that doesn't mean there aren't scenes without music, because there are. This isn't like Tsurune, where it's playing loud music through 99% of the show. This is carefully put together music that doesn't make sure to overwhelm the viewer. This isn't Oshima's Miyamoto's best work, as I feel Snow White and Full Metal edge it out, but this is easily up there. It just captures the feeling of this show so well. The sense of melancholy or uncertainty. I just love this kind of score personally as well, so to see it in a story for a manga I didn't like, well, I'm happy about it.
私もそっちに行きたいのに。
Recently, I have been praising Sentai pretty heavily for their Dubcast exclusive series, and for good reason. They really seem to have been putting in the hard work to make their dubs compete with Funimation. And while it's still early game for Hive Dive, as they only just started to push hard with this idea in the summer of 2018, there is much more room to improve their situation. That means there will also be letdowns, and Bloomin' to You is sadly a fumble for Sentai. But don't get me wrong though, the characters that matter, like Yu and Toko and even some of the major supporting characters, they're voiced very well, and it's obvious why that is because some of the cast here is really good. Yu and Toko are played by Tia Ballard and Lucy Christian respectively. Where it counts, the dub is reliable and good, but even while those performances are good, it feels like everyone just didn't have enough time to produce this dub. I am only speculating, I have no evidence, but something about this dub just screams rushed, and when it comes to weekly dubs, that comes as no surprise. If I were a betting man, I'd say the producers didn't exactly have enough time to make this dub the best it could have been. But what puts the nail in this coffin isn't even the performance of the dub, it's actually the mixing. For my ears, and keep in mind I do have ear damage due to not wearing proper ear protection while performing on stage, kids, if you're on stage, you gotta use your protection. The voices sound way too sharp and crushed my ears. It sounds like they noise gated and used a proper recording booth, but the EQ and compression just seems wrong and way too compressed. It's like they compress the audio so much that the S becomes more harsh. This is not a problem in the Japanese dub, but is a huge problem in this dub. I hope that with a Blu-ray release, they'll be able to re-record or at least touch up the mixing, as currently, to my blown up ears, it sounds too flawed for me to suggest based off the mixing alone.
What are you going to do with your time off?
I don't know, nothing much really. After all, I have to take some time to memorize that campaign speech.
Not too much longer. Want some?
Sure, thanks a lot. Here you go.
Can you tell I've been absolutely surprised by this anime? I went into this expecting only to watch maybe the first 2 episodes and then drop it like a sack of potatoes, and I gave the manga a pretty harsh middling review for it as well. I absolutely did not have any interest in this anime, but some way and somehow Troika not only got me to watch the whole thing, but the studio got me to love the anime, the characters, the setting, the art, the music, the animation, and yes, while all of my criticisms remain for the story's pacing and how some characters are written, and that pretty mediocre dub, I absolutely adored this anime otherwise. That being said, it's hard to give this one a full recommendation just to anyone. If you like Slice of Life, check it out. It's one of the best Slice of Life this year for sure, but if you don't like Yuri or Slice of Life, this just isn't going to move the needle for you. But did Bloomin' to You impress you? Put down in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and ring the bell, and click on some of these videos if they interest you in any way. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye!